rolling chalk hills of southern England, the South Downs, sweeping softly beneath a pale sky. It is early, so early that the world seems half asleep. A low mist hangs over the grass, moving lazily, as though reluctant to rise. The land stretches out in long, gentle curves, soft green meeting silver fog. There is no sound except the faint call of a distant bird and the whisper of wind brushing over earth that has carried human footsteps for nearly 1,000,000 years. On the horizon stands an ancient figure, tall, silent, familiar. A great stone weathered by thousands of winters, one part of what will, much later in our story, become a stone circle. A marker of ritual, time, mystery, but right now, in this early dawn, simply a dark silhouette against the rising sun. A small group of early humans moves quietly near the stone. They wrap themselves in animal skins, breathe clouded breaths into the cold morning air, and leave soft footprints in the damp earth. They pause to look at the sky, at the slow brightening of the pale sun, and, for a moment, you can imagine a thought passing between them. This land, this place, is home. What they could not know was how many centuries, how many peoples, how many wars and dynasties and dreams would one day shape this same land, how their quiet early morning ritual would eventually give way to Romans and Saxons, to Normans and Plantagenets, to Tudors, Stuarts and beyond, how England would grow from mist-covered hills and scattered tribes into kingdoms, and then a nation, changing again and again, layer by gentle layer. Tonight we follow that story, and throughout this long journey, we'll return from time to time to this quiet hill, this low morning fog, this land that has washed over every chapter. Settle in. Slow your breathing, relax your shoulders. This is the soft story of England, from its early roots to its modern shape, told slowly, gently, like a warm candle burning low in an old stone cottage. Prehistoric England, 900,000 years ago to 43 AD. Before kings, before borders, before written words, there was simply the land. Humans first wandered into what is now England around 900,000 years ago. The world was colder, shaped by ice ages, and the land was not yet an island. Rather, it was connected to Europe by a vast strip of land called Doggerland, an expanse now resting beneath the North Sea. People lived simply, following herds, sheltering in caves, gathering food from the forest and coasts, warming, settling, and farming. Around 10,000 BC, when the last ice age ended, the climate warmed, forests grew, rivers widened, and slowly, people began to settle. By 4000 BC, the Neolithic Age began. Warming communities appeared, bringing with them domesticated animals, cultivated crops, and the desire to create lasting places on the land. Around 2500 BC, on the Salisbury Plain, people began to raise great stones, massive stones, each weighing many tons, arranged with such care and precision that the site still aligns perfectly with the movements of the sun. Stonehenge, silent, enduring, a place where the past still whispers loudly. The Bronze and Iron Ages, metal arrived, first bronze, then iron, transforming tools, weapons, and daily life. By 800 BC, the Iron Age Britons, part of the wider Celtic world, lived in hill forts, farmed the land, and traded across the Channel. This was England before England, a tapestry of tribes, each with its own customs, its own land, its own quiet stories. And then a new chapter began. Roman Britain, 43 AD to 410 AD. Rome arrives, and the island changes forever. Claudius invades. In 43 AD, Emperor Claudius sent 4 legions across the channel. They marched through forests and fields, building roads, forts, and towns with remarkable speed. Rome stayed for nearly 4 centuries. Under Roman influence, England took on a new shape. Londinium, a bustling port town, then Eboracum, stronghold of the north, and Aquae Sulis, a spa town built around hot springs. They built roads in straight determined lines, villas with mosaics, amphitheatres, large bathhouses filled with warm steam. Hadrian's Wall rose in 122 AD, stretching across the width of the island, stone and turf marking the Roman edge of the world. A slow exit. By 410 AD, Rome was weakening, its borders strained, its army stretched thin. The last soldiers were recalled, leaving towns and roads behind the footprints in the sand. And once more, England stood on its own, but now changed forever. The early medieval era, 410 to 1066. Anglo-Saxons, Vikings, kingdoms rising and falling. After Rome left, new peoples arrived. The Anglo-Saxons settled. Angles, Saxons, and Jutes crossed from northern Europe. They built farms, villages, and kingdoms. England slowly became a patchwork of realms, including Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria. Kings ruled with the help of councils. The Wittingement made up of nobles and clergy. Society formed into layers: kings, thanes, freemen, peasants, and slaves. Missionaries arrived in the 7th century, building monasteries, writing chronicles, and blending old pagan beliefs with new Christian traditions. This was the age of Beowulf, of early English poetry, of illuminated manuscripts glowing in quiet stone halls. In 793 AD, raiders struck Lindisfarne. Over the next centuries, Vikings settled, traded, fought, and married into local communities. Large regions became the Danelaw, governed by Norse customs and law, but eventually the Anglo-Saxon kings, especially Alfred the Great and later Aethelstan, pushed back and unified much of the land. And then in 1066, everything changed again. The Norman Conquest of 1066. The Battle of Hastings, Harold's fall, William the Conqueror crowned on Christmas Day 1066. Norman rule introduced feudalism, grand stone castles, cathedrals in a soaring new style, and the Domesday Book in 1086, recording every cow, field and forge in England. French became the language of the elite. Old English blended with it, forming something new, the beginnings of modern English. The land itself shifted, its lords replaced, its laws reshaped. England entered the medieval world. The Plantagenets, 11. Kings, wars, law, and a kingdom growing more complex. A dynasty of power and turmoil. The Plantagenets ruled for more than 300 years. Under them came the Crusades of Richard the Lionheart, the turbulent reign of King John, and the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. The Black Death, the rise of Parliament, the 100 Years' War, and finally, the Wars of the Roses. It was a time of shifting power between crown and nobles, between kings and councils. Two houses, Lancaster and York, a red rose, a white rose, battles fought across muddy fields and castle walls. In 1485, Bosworth Field, the Plantagenet era ended. A new king rose, Henry Tudor. A new age. The Tudors, 1485 to 1603. Renaissance, religion, and the rise of England. The Tudor era is one of England's most vivid periods. Henry VII, he rebuilt stability, strengthened the crown, and laid groundwork for peace. Henry VIII then came his son, bold, ambitious, and transformative. Under Henry VIII, monasteries dissolved, church lands seized, the Church of England was born, and royal power expanded dramatically. The country changed in ways still felt today. Elizabeth I. The long reign brought culture, theatre, exploration, and a sense of national identity. Shakespeare's plays filled wooden theatres. Sea voyages circled the globe. England grew confident, expressive, creative. When Elizabeth died childless in 1603, her cousin from Scotland became king. The Stuarts and Civil War, 1603 to 1714. Union, conflict, revolution, and the birth of modern governance. James I and a new union. James I united crowns of England and Scotland. His era produced the King James Bible, one of the most influential texts in the English language. But tensions grew between Crown and Parliament. Under Charles I, conflict erupted. War raged from 1642 to 1651. The unthinkable happened. A king was executed. Oliver Cromwell ruled as Lord Protector. For a time, England became a republic. The monarchy returned with Charles II, then James II, but fears of tyranny led to the Glorious Revolution of 1688. William and Mary took the throne, and England adopted a constitutional monarchy, limiting royal power and strengthening Parliament. This foundational shift shaped the democracy that exists today. Return to the misty hill. Now, after walking through centuries of England's story, return for a moment to the quiet hill from our opening scene. The soft curve of the downs, the pale sky brightening, stones standing silently in the earth. This land, this foggy, ancient land, carries the memory of every chapter, from the first hunter-gatherers, to Roman legions, to Saxon halls, to Viking ships, to Norman castles, to Tudor courts, to civil war and modern governance. All of it unfolded on the same rolling soil, beneath the same shifted sky. England's history is long, layered, and deeply human, a blending of peoples, customs, faiths, and ideas. And through it all, the land has remained quiet, patient, enduring. A soft green thread tying every era together. As you breathe gently now, let the long story settle around you like evening mist across the hills. England's history is not just war and kings and dates. It is the slow unfolding of a place shaped by countless lives. A story of change, of resilience, of traditions drifting from one century into the next. Of people finding their way through winters and wars and quiet dawns. Just like the stone on the hillside, just like the mist lifting in the morning light, England endures. And its story, like yours tonight, can now rest softly. Good night.